Hello there, and thanks for joining me. I'm Corel Painter Master Aaron Rutten, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing some artwork that was sent to me by one of my students who supports my channel on patreon.com/AaronRutten. This is a painting of a country chapel by Richard Stalter, and if you've been watching my videos for a while now, you're very familiar with Richard and his absolutely amazing paintings. Richard said he's been working on this one since December, and I believe it because there's a lot going on here. Because Richard was nice enough to send me the layered version of this, we can really appreciate it in all of its detail. So needless to say, I really like this painting. It's a great example of what can be accomplished by following my courses and tutorials. Because I'm the one who created the courses, I can look at a painting like this and I can see elements from different courses. For example, the chapel here, which is the main focal point, is something that was likely inspired by my cabin and mountain course and my old barn painting course. So even though those courses are about painting a cabin and a barn, you can still use those techniques to paint other kinds of architecture as well. There's also the forest in the background here, which I can see was inspired by my Misty Forest Foothills course. This tree here was probably inspired by my cabin and mountain course, and the reflection down here may have been inspired by my landscape painting crash course. So this is an excellent example of learning a lot of skills and being able to combine them together into a single painting. So I have to say that this is an A+ painting, Richard. I can definitely see a lot of improvement, especially here on the trees. The trees as a whole have an overall shadow and highlight side, which is clearly defined. The shadow that comes off of it is also really nice. And the chapel itself is just fantastic. I can't even begin to describe how much detail is in this thing. So I've gone ahead and jumped over to the layered riff file that Richard sent me, and Richard said that this painting contained hundreds of layers, and that's not even counting the ones that he merged or deleted along the way. If we look here in the layers palette, you can see that there are a ton of groups of layers, and they're all very well organized, and this is excellent, Richard. It's so difficult to get people to use layers, let alone name and group them like you've done here. So for those of you who are watching and taking notes, this is one of the most important things you can do when you're working on a complex painting, is organize everything into layers. I've never looked at this riff file before, but I could go through here and very easily find the horse. There's the horse there in the background. If I wanted to see the different layers of the horse, I could open up that group and I could see there's the horse highlights and shadows and base. So if we go ahead and we zoom into this, this is full size here, and let's just check the dimensions here. So this is 11 by 14 at 300 dpi. Or 4200 pixels tall by 3000 wide. So it's a pretty decent sized image. You can zoom in pretty close and appreciate the detail. So we can see the horse now. Here's the horse highlights. Here's the horse shadows. Here's the horse base. And so I can quickly and easily go in and find the exact layer that I'm looking for. Now let's take a look at the building layers. There's building main. There's building windows. There's the tower lower, tower top, tower mid, all very well constructed here. So if we look at building main and we toggle that open, you can see that there's lots of layers, and those are all named as well. So very specific names here: main wall left moss stain, there's the front moss stain, and so on. So if we take a look at this layer here, main wall left stone shadow, and we zoom in to the main wall stone over on the left, then we can see that we can show and hide that layer specifically there that casts the shadow underneath the stones so they look like they're three-dimensional. So obviously there are a lot of layers here, and really what I wanted to show was just how many layers were being used and how well organized they are, but I'm not going to go through every single layer here. Now I could make this video a critique, but honestly I don't think I really have anything to suggest to make this better. This is pretty darn good on its own. So let's just zoom in and let's just appreciate some of the detail here. You can see the roof has all kinds of shingles on it. There's a bell in the bell tower. There's stones across the entire structure. There's windows that are individually detailed with stained glass. There's lots of different kinds of plants and trees. There's an old weathered bench. Everything has drop shadows. There's a reflection in the water. There's a really nice stone path, which I like, that kind of goes from the gate up to the door of the chapel. I like all the detail on the gate. There's a little rope hanging from it and the little rusty hinges. The doorway looks really nice. And then one thing I really like here on the road is it looks like there was an image hose used, or perhaps the thick paint brushes, which gives it a really nice effect like cars were driving along that path. Then of course the horse is a nice touch in the background. It's subtle and very small, so it doesn't draw too much attention away from the main subject. And then I like that nice focal effect as the distant forest gets more distant and more misty. So overall, this is an excellent painting, and it really makes me proud of what Richard's done here. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your layered artwork with us, Richard. If you want to learn how to create paintings like this, check out my Corel Painter courses at aaronrutten.com. There's a link down in the video description. And if you enjoyed checking out Richard's painting, take a quick second to click the like button to show your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.